And of Hollywood, it's about one thing, truly. It's about power. Who's got it, who could get it, and who's lost it. And what really happens, and I've worked in that area many times, is behind the scenes, those big things, you suddenly think, oh, right, this is looking great. But behind the scenes, the minute the person sort of slumps down in popularity, you have a huge problem. Now, we've seen this, haven't we, with Meghan and Harry? They were, of course, incredibly famous, and some might suggest popular, particularly over in America for a short period. But the way they've treated people, the way that they've actually been very rude to people, well, of course, then people have decided they don't need them. And this is exactly how celebrity works. But even Meghan Markle has now worked out this particular dilemma. And it's one that she thinks now will hold some leverage and some power. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much. Are you all right today? And by the way, I'm glad you really enjoyed the video about the Queen and Wallis Simpson and that TV series. Somebody wrote in one of the comments, oh Neil, that was on Channel 4. It may have been repeated on Channel 4 at some time later on, but at the time of making that show, Channel 4 didn't exist. So again, people get a little bit confused and they get sold all around, don't they? But it's a strange thing. I do remember it, and so many of you said the same thing as me. Edward Fox was sublime in that role. Even when I met him years later, I kept thinking, gosh, it's like interviewing royalty. You know what I mean? Back as ever to your royal story of the day. Yeah, now this really has sort of seen the sands of time shift and change, as it may be, because as you know, Oprah Winfrey was a big cheese at one point, particularly when I was growing up in the 80s, the sort of #1 daytime TV host, all that sort of thing, seemingly interviewing all the big top cheeses of the day, Liberace, Michael Jackson, you name it, she sat down with them all. And then of course recently she got caught, how shall we say, with a mistruth. That's what they like to call it. We call it blatant lying, but she calls it a mistruth, where she sort of got caught out because she lost all that weight. And we're not talking about Gayle King, we're talking about her body weight. And the other side of it was, of course, that she basically decided that, she hadn't exactly got rid of it through Weight Watchers, you get the picture. So suddenly she couldn't be an ambassador for Weight Watchers, But Meghan thought that she was an absolute cheese, the ultimate. And as we all know, she was trying to get in front of Oprah's camera lens even before the wedding had taken place, So conversations were going ahead. So much so she convinced Harry to sit down for the Me You Can't See. All of that, she dangled every carrot so that she could get that moment in front of Oprah Winfrey. That was the dream of the little girl way back when. But now, apparently thanks to the fact that she's run out of power after this debacle, where she got up on stage to back the presidential electoral sort of hopeful Kamala Harris, well, apparently Meghan's seen the light and thought, well, if she couldn't pull that off, how powerful is she? And she has a point in many respects, because that's now what everybody's saying in Hollywood. But you see, Meghan, as I told you, was very keen to sit down on a one-to-one with Oprah. And now, apparently, Oprah only wanted if Harry was going to be part of it too, like an update. But Meghan feels that she now has the power. And this particular, shall we say, mess, where she was even unable to steer the votership, well, how powerful is Oprah Winfrey? Now, you might just say this is two dueling divas, but as I said at the start of this video, this is Hollywood, and this is how Hollywood works, and there can only be one winner. Now, who's your money on? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.